He needed this shit to not exist.
I'm joking. I didn't write this.
Celebrated American novelist Don DeLillo wrote that shit and then hit them with the original, I'm joking. Heated Rivalry has resurrected an OG piece of hockey smut that I frankly do not know enough about. I'm learning very, very frantically about it, but I don't know enough about it to know whether this should be resurrected or should see the light of day. I'm assuming
I know even.
Go ahead.
No,
Sean.
I know even less than you do, but just based on the elements that you sent me prior, I had the exact same question, particularly a specific picture that you sent. I was
can you reset
this might be
up?
from a more problematic.
Why?
I like spaced out.
Okay.
And now I'm scared.
All right, I'm gonna do it really all right. 3, 2, 1. Heated Rivalry is resurrecting a piece of OG hockey smut that, frankly, I don't have enough information about to know whether should be resurrected, Pete.
Okay, great.
Really, I don't know if this should be seeing the light of day. So if this is a thing and if Chad is like, oh, boys, run from this, stop, I apologize, but I just don't know. I'm learning as much as I can. Thank you to friend of the show, Chris Bayo, for the tip as to all this. I'm not throwing him under the bus, but here's the backstory. Do you know who Don DeLillo is?
No.
Don DeLillo is a very celebrated American novelist. He's written such novels as Underworld, White Noise, and The Names. Bookheads know this guy.
He's no Larry McMurtry.
I saw, as I started to read about all this, I was throwing out to people, I was like, Don DeLillo? Bookheads were like, oh yeah, one of the greats.
I only read the Bible.
In 1980, just before he became famous, he put out a fictional erotic memoir under a pseudonym. The book was called Amazons, and it was about the first woman to play in the NHL. And this guy, who is now 89 years old, has spent his entire life trying to pretend that shit never happened. That he never wrote the book, that it didn't. He's denied writing it. He has refused to print it. This guy wants nothing to do with it. Meanwhile, some people have read it and have copies from its original printing, and those people think it is the coolest book ever.
That's the greatest move of all time. Being like, I didn't do that shit. Fucking prove it.
I didn't write that fucking book. You know how long it takes? Like, you know how much effort you have to put into writing a book, and then spending the rest of your life pretending that you didn't write that book is quite possibly the funniest thing ever.
Okay, now this is from the New York Times in January, written by Alexandra Alter. The headline is, "Did Don DeLillo invent the racy hockey novel?" Nearly half a century before Heated Rivalry skated its way to screens, a budding literacy talent pseudonymously published some sporty smut of his own. Long before Heated Rivalry, the smash hit TV show based on a popular romance series shot sports romance into the cultural mainstream. An acclaimed literary novelist, I'm going to redo that. Long before Heated Rivalry, the smash hit TV show based on a popular hockey romance series shot sports romance into the cultural mainstream. An acclaimed literary novelist secretly published an erotic hockey novel under a pen name. The book...
Hey, that's not the... Oh, never mind. What, pseudonymously?
Yeah.
One more time?
Did I say it there?
No. I just want to hear you say it again.
Pseudonymously. Anyway, the book Amazons stars Cleo Birdwell, the first woman to play in the National Hockey League. A scrappy player for the New York Rangers, Birdwell is as aggressive and fearless in her pursuit of sex as she is on the ice. Quote, "With my knees first and then my breasts and then my full body, I pushed him against the wall," Birdwell writes of an erotic encounter with a strapping defenseman whose body is, quote, "rock hard top to bottom." The writer behind Amazons is Don DeLillo, who released the book under the pseudonym Cleo Birdwell, adopting the ruse that the novel was a memoir. When he was outed as its author, DeLillo distanced himself from the novel and later tried to have the book expunged from the literary record, omitting Amazons from his official bibliography.
He tried to have it expunged.
He needed this shit to not exist.
I'm joking. I didn't write this.
Celebrated American novelist Don DeLillo wrote that shit and then hit them with the original. I'm joking. Now, Sean, there's another New York Times piece that was published in just a few days ago, March 20th, from Alexandra Alter. Sean? Don DeLillo's ribald hockey romp will return to stores. You're welcome.
This poor guy. Are we allowed to feel bad for this guy? I mean, he spent a lot of time in his life writing this book, I would assume, and then spent the rest of his life trying to avoid it. And now, presumably, near the end of his life, he is going to be bombarded with attention for the book that he never wanted to acknowledge being back out there and maybe becoming famous.
Is this now this man is 89 years old.
Yes.
Is this the Frankie Valification of Don DeLillo?
Like, who's making the choice to put this back into stores?
Let's read the New York Times.
Okay.
Early in his career, Don DeLillo secretly published a raunchy satire about a female professional hockey player. In the years since its release, DeLillo disowned Amazon's, omitting the novel from his official bibliography. Now, he is finally ready to claim it. Sort of. More than 40 years after Amazon's came and went, DeLillo has agreed to reprint the novel. The new edition is scheduled to come out on November 17th, 3 days before his 90th birthday. DeLillo's publisher, Scribner, what the fuck?
Ebenezer Scribner.
Yeah, yes. Persuaded him, it's read by candlelight, persuaded him to reissue the novel after the New York Times published an article about how Amazon's was an unlikely precursor to contemporary hockey erotica, which went mainstream last year with HBO's Heated Rivalry. After the article ran, prices for used copies of the novel soared. The new edition will keep its cheeky original conceit. The name on the cover is still Cleo Birdwell, and Amazon is still presented as a memoir by a professional female hockey player. But there's a sly nod to its author in the opening pages. The epigraph page of the new edition has an image of a business card that DeLillo has carried with him for years and distributes as an evasive maneuver. It's the only place his name appears in the book. DeLillo declined through his editor and agent to comment for this article, but his publisher sent the Times one of DeLillo's cards. Sean?
Oh my God.
It says, I don't want to talk about it, Don DeLillo. So he's putting out this book and saying, fucking leave me alone. Here, have it. I learned of all this, by the way, because Vampire Weekend bassist Chris Baio, who is a huge bookhead, posted this article with like, holy shit, this is the craziest thing that could come from Heated Rivalry is that this book that Baio knows about, and like people who know about the book are like, holy fucking God, are you aware of Amazon's? The book that Don DeLillo wrote that was this crazy ass, insane hockey smut that he's been like, I didn't do that shit. Leave me alone. Leave me out of this. Like Baio has a copy of it. From the
book?
Yeah, his wife got it for him.
Oh, shit.
15 years ago, got him a copy of the book. And do you have the back of the book? This is what the back of the book is, as DeLillo was pretending that he did not write this book. This is Cleo Birdwell.
Of course she plays for the Rangers.
Yes, that's why Baio's into it. Just classic Homer behavior. This is one of the comments on the New York Times piece. Because I was looking for anything I could learn about this. I mean, Simard's not responding to my messages about Youppi. I got to learn about something. Like an idiot, posted a commenter, at a book reading, I asked Mr. DeLillo when Amazon's would be re-released, only to receive in response a dead-eyed, morose, I never talk about that. That's a pity. I shot back, thoroughly shocked, because the book is brilliant, and it is. Plus hilariously funny, whether describing how to operate a revolving door during a blizzard in Toronto to why the Torkel should be adopted as an official unit of measure, you will weep with laughter from page 1 to 390. Glorious news. A Reddit user 6 years ago wrote, I just finished it. Very entertaining. Don has his pulse on America, it seems. Lots to unpack. A Saudi-owned hockey team, bizarre sexual escapades, etc., etc.
There are going to be think pieces on this.
There
are going to be so many think pieces on this.
This came out in 1980, and
he had his finger on the pulse of America.
Yes,
I'll
note
you
the
said
Reddit
a Saudi
user,
owned.
Yes, the Reddit user who said like this is very entertaining, like accuses the protagonist in this story of some bad stuff.
Well,
it's like listing a bunch of like it has this, it has this, it has this. Like you are right. Everyone's going to be able to read this book, and I feel there is going to be thought. There are going to be thoughts.
I mean, I feel like it's a tough place to start from when you're doing like a smut book written with a female protagonist where there are some problematic or raunchy over the top things being written about. And then it becomes another like complicated layer when you're mixing this person into sports and men's sports. So like, I feel like there are going to be a lot of thoughts and think pieces about this book. I hope I can understand why this guy was like, I didn't do it. I'm joking. I'm joking. Nope.
I mean, the fact that he's talking about a Saudi-owned an American professional sports team in the 80s is fucking insane because they own everything now. First off. Secondly,
honestly, Saudis owning the Rangers might be a step in the right direction.
You're not wrong. I have so many questions because it doesn't seem like he's like deathly committed to distancing himself, because if he was, he would be like, I didn't do that shit, not I don't talk about it. Like, that's what I'm confused about, is he seems like he's at a certain point given up on trying to convince people that he didn't do it.
Yes,
but now he's just like, don't ask me.
Let me find it in one of these New York Times pieces. In 2020, yes, though he was almost immediately outed as the author. Well, that's another great part. He put that.
He's like, I didn't do it. Yeah, you did.
Shit. And everyone's like, oh, you definitely wrote that. But
how do you get outed as like an author of a book that you wrote under your not real name?
Well, you do the Taylor Swift thing where remember when she did the "This Is What You Came For" thing. She was one of the writers on that song, but she used a pseudonym and then told everyone that was her.
Okay.
Great hook. Like, good work, Taylor. Though he was almost immediately outed as the author, DeLillo never formally acknowledged writing the book until he was asked about it in a 2020 interview with the New York Times Magazine and was seemingly caught off guard. Oh, God, how do you remember that? He said.
How do you remember that? What? How do you remember that as a weird response to that?
I'm extremely obsessed by this guy writing a book and then immediately pivoting to never wanting to talk about it.
Listen,
and being caught off guard for years and decades to follow. I'm not doing this. I'm not talking about it. How do you know about this? Not me. I'm obsessed with this.
There is clearly lore here. And like I said, Bayo posted this New York Times story. And I was like, we don't have a lot to talk about today on the show. Let me see this. And every sentence of the story I read blew my mind more than the last. And I'm thinking about it from the perspective of anyone who knew about this book, seeing this happen, it must be insane. I chatted with Chris a little bit about it, and he said it's wild that heated rivalry has resulted in an almost 90-year-old DeLillo agreeing to reprint this. This is because apparently this has just been like known as a thing that this guy, who went on to have a much more prolific, and not that this isn't a respectable work, we haven't read it, but like people talking about this guy should be like winning Pulitzers, you know?
Yeah.
That this guy has hid from this his whole life, and in possibly his final days, we don't know. Maybe there's a lot. Maybe he's got more years left on his deal. That he's like, yeah, okay, but that he gave up the fight. Heated rivalry's effect, man.
I have to ask, because I don't think I heard the word satire until you were pretty far along in the explanation of this whole process. If that was a contingency, like, hey, if I'm releasing this, we are marketing it as satire.
Let's read the Wikipedia page, which I have not seen before. Amazon's a novel written by Don DeLillo, published under the pseudonym Cleo Birdwell in 1980. The subtitle is An Intimate Memoir by the First Woman Ever to Play in the National Hockey League. After let's see, do we do plot summary? or aftermath. In 2014, Salon stated, there's an aftermath section of a Wikipedia page that we're going for that. In 2014, Salon stated that DeLillo, quote, doesn't want his name attached to it, quote, has never acknowledged writing it, and, quote, won't grant permission for it to be reprinted. In a 2020 interview with the New York Times, DeLillo finally acknowledged writing the novel. In 2026, his longtime editor Nan Graham and literary agent Robin Strauss convinced him to allow it to be reprinted, reportedly after DeLillo's wife had stayed up until midnight the night before reading it and laughing. So that's the thing. People who have read it are like, classic DeLillo. Like, good work, man. You did that shit. And he's like, the fuck I did.
Ambassador Degree says, dude had post-published clarity. Somebody else in the chat said this, and it's a bit distasteful, but I also agree that, like, perhaps the funniest conclusion to this would be this book getting published and then him immediately kicking the can. Like, this book literally kills him.
Do you think that people are going to read this book and be like, the author must answer for this? And then you got like a 90-year-old being like, look, man, it was the fucking, we were coming off the 70s. Everyone was doing shit back then.
I'm a little
Not to say
scared.
this man was using cocaine, but like, who fucking knows?
Two massive takeaways. I'm absolutely reading this book. This has been an incredible campaign to sell me on the book.
Totally.
And I feel like anybody who watches this show and likes hockey and can read and does read, I feel like is probably going to read this book now. And number two, I'm very scared as to what's going to happen when this book is released and people read it, both for the author and for the people who write think pieces about literature, because, oh my God, we're going to be busy.
I'll say the hype is very high on this one. Like, what if it comes out and everyone reads it and they're like, yeah, I've already read Reed's shit. She like that's better.
This is going to be very different from the Game Changer series, I would imagine.
I'm on eBay right now. Amazon's by Cleo Birdwell, a.k.a. Don DeLillo. And the top one is $375. Are there any bids? It's $375. There's one for $275 that has a bid. There's one for $299 that has a bid. Yo, Bayo, sell that shit. You can get $300 off this.
I don't know. I feel like that's like having a first edition or a secret edition.
It's got to be like your most prized possession.
Like yeah, especially if this book gets released and gets widespread acclaim and becomes like super famous mainstream wise, whether or not people like it or hate it, whatever. Having a original release may be worth so much more money by that time.
Can I give winners and losers of this of Amazon's by the great Cleo Birdwell? Can
I give mine first?
Yep.
Don DeLillo's estate.
Don DeLillo's estate.
Yeah, I was going to say the grandchildren of Don DeLillo.
Yep. I have a huge loser for this.
Don DeLillo.
Off campus.
Oh, true. Yeah, immediately
you're doing a fucking straight one? We already got one from the 1980s that is seemingly problematic. We'll be doing that one. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but Off Campus is going to have an on-screen adaptation well before Amazon's does. If Amazon's does.
A little bit of rising tide lifts all ships. Like, you know, Heated Rivalry got hot. Now we're getting a straight show. We got a straight book coming back into the limelight. Like,
it's very progressive. Thank you for Heated Rivalry to open the doors for straight romance novels.
I do like that we are covering a lot of ground here. We've got the gay hockey show and the gay hockey books. We've got Off Campus, which is seemingly straight. And now we've got the satire featuring women's hockey in the NHL. That's the most dangerous one for sure, especially since the author was like, I didn't do it. Like, a lot of reasons to be scared.
The very brief explanation, it does sound like the woman is very much in charge in this book. So maybe DeLillo is a feminist icon of sorts.
And maybe it's empowering.
All things on the table. Yeah.
I know that I brought this to the table, but I have a stunned reaction to this. Are we going to think that this should have seen the light of day when all is said and done?
Well, this is
yeah, I mean,
I think so. Yeah, like
this train has left the station.
Something is coming from this. We just don't know what it's going to be.
I mean, I can confidently say after this conversation, the train has left the station. I will disco darling this book if I have to.
Yes, yes, you are 1 for 1. I'll say the Rangers gotta hate this book.
Oh yeah, because they're not even doing the heat of rivalry, like making it.
A, it's
generic.
using their imagery. B, the fuck do the Rangers care about straight relationships? The Rangers care about gay rights only. They lose games because they're
Maybe they'll
cracking
have
the books.
they'll have a Don DeLillo night and they'll win that game.
Oh,
Won't be distracted because they don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, it'll be straight hockey.
yeah. They can just turn their brain. They're like, that shit doesn't matter.
I mean, anything to distract from the fact that the Rangers had 9 shots on goal last night. They'll take that publicity. Yes, I said 9, not 10.
No, they reprinted. They put out they finally agreed to reprint the box score, and they said that there were 10.
The thing that's most intriguing to me about this is that, like, I don't know who this guy is, but based on everything you've said, he's like a well-regarded writer otherwise. So, like, in theory, this should be a good book, like, or at least the writing in it should be good if he is a good writer.
That's
So,
what
I'm interested.
In perusing Reddit, Sean, I did find people being like, yeah, I mean, it's awesome because this dude wrote it. And then they get into some of the crazy stuff, and I'm like, no, I will have.
I'll experience that myself.
Do you think that, would you sign up to do the audiobook for it, having not read the book?
The audiobook for...
Knowing this could be huge. If someone came to either of you guys and said, hey, would you like to, it's not paying.
Like
it's
do
free.
the audiobook.
Yeah, your voice is the audiobook for this.
I'll be honest, I've wanted to do an audiobook for a little while. Like, I want to dip my toes into that water. I would do it for free, and I would definitely do it for free for a book that is potentially going to be massive.
I agree.
People aren't going to blame me that the audiobook is.
You're just reading.
Yeah, I'm just saying the lyrics. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, no, that's never gotten anybody in trouble.
If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to What Chaos here on YouTube. You will get everything, daily episodes, player interviews, and so much more. It's all here on the What Chaos YouTube. Hit subscribe.